Hello dear, you're welcome to class today. Today is our day 6 of our Excel class. We have been trying to do a lot of things using Excel from the introduction up to this point. We have been able to achieve a lot, especially the use of logics to work out our Excel assignment. So today we are looking at the phase 4 of the work, and it has to do with data visualization. My name is Jude Chukwudi Ilobelu. I'm your consultant and coordinator for this program. So looking at the assignment before us, we're expected to create a visualization of the revenue by country. We're creating another visualization for the proportion of revenue by gender. And the third one is to create a visualization of revenue by country and gender. And the last is to create visualization of the proportion of revenue by age band. Now, when you want to create visualization within this given assignment, the best thing to use is what we call the pivot table. Pivot chart is what is best suited for this assignment. So the question is, where is this pivot table situated? When you come up to your Excel ribbon, you can go to the insert. When you go to the insert, you click on the insert. The first thing you see here is pivot table. The next is recommended private tables, and now another one is found inside of the chart section. You see it here, pivot chart. When you click on this little pointer and click it open, it will give you option for pivot chart and table. You can see everything is complete. See that you are going for pivot table, just the table, or recommended, or you go for pivot chart, just the chart, or the one that has both chart and table. And I'm going to go for the one that has both the pivot chart and the pivot table to address our problem. So what do? For us to do this, we first of all leave this environment, come to this drag it to the extreme so that you will see the starting point. When you come here, you can click on any place within this region. Just click on any place and you go to your insert. When you go to your insert, you come to your pivot chart, click on the pivot chart and your pivot table. You see that it will bring out an interface, a dialog table. That is one. That table is telling us the name of the sheet we are working with, which is data fluency sheet. It is also, you can see this moving dotted line. It has covered every aspect of what we are doing here. Just look at it. Let's move a bit until we come to you see this is where the value ends, and it goes down to the end of the work. So it has covered everything here. So that is what it's doing here. That is the table range. The next thing it will ask you, do you want this work to be placed on a new worksheet or existing worksheet? Now by default it's advising you to go for a new worksheet. So we are going for the new worksheet. So the next thing is some of these questions. For this it is not relevant, so we just click OK. You see that a new worksheet has been opened, which is called sheet 10. And you can see pivot table 1. I can see where we are going to build our chart. They are all there. So you can maybe bring it closer. That's first thing you do. Second thing, when you look at this environment, carefully look up. You see that new under pivot chart analyze, we see field list and we see bottom field. These are relevant for this environment. We may not be using it, but anytime you want to use it, it is open for you to use. Now you come and see there's something we call the pivot chart field. the pivot chart field, it carries, when you look at it, it carries all the columns that are there in our data fluency, from customer ID, gender, marital status, yearly income, even up to the ones that we created, the customer value, the age band, age. Remember, we did all this. It also carries them. All of them are represented here. So that is one thing you should know. Second thing you should know is that there's what we call drag field between area. You can also bring your field, these are fields, into this area either for filtering. In filter, we are picking area of interest. Maybe you have 5 items, you want to pick 2 or 1. You can use filter to pick what you want. Legend, you want to know how to name it, how to arrange it. Your axis, you want to see how your axis will look like. You can even see it from the signs we are here. These are looking like a column, something is looking like a row, something. It is all important. And you can see value. You can also work on value. You can also do things on our layout and update. All of them are possible in this aspect. So this is where we can be able to uh, do our manipulation. So the next question is, what is this pivot table we're talking about? What is it all about? Now, pivot table is all about summarization of your work. As you can see from our work in this column, you can see you will have customer ID from the first customer, shift control down up to the 17,423rd or 22nd customer. That is how you get information that contains to them. Both all information that relates to the customer per row are all captured here. So when we come to the pivot table, we are looking for summary of all we are doing. So it makes the work easy. So now, what is the question again? We'll go back to study the question so that we can know how to answer it. So we'll go where the question is located. And the question states that we should do what? 1. Create a visualization of revenue by country. So we're looking at revenue and we're looking at this revenue by country. So we'll go back again to our pivot table and we'll look at our column heads. You can see we have revenue here. So when you click on revenue, you can see the sum of revenue immediately comes up, giving you some important ratings already done by default. And you can see the sum of this revenue also indicated here. Then the next thing we are doing is we look for the country, because we are doing revenue by country, and country here is a region. So we pick on region. I can see that we have country by region. This particular data is not the one I've been using all this while. I decided to pick it. It's the same thing, but the difference is that it has some place for blank. So for you to address this blank, it's very simple. It's either you go to your role label here and open it and select the ones you want and have the one you want, or you go to your region here too and also remove the ones you don't want to see. Either of them will give you the same answer. Now we don't want to see blank. We uncheck the blank and click OK. And once you have done that, you see that the blank here has also disappeared. So there's no space for blank. So we're just seeing the country and we are seeing their revenue rating. So this is important. So the next thing you are going to do is to do a little formatting. Formatting may involve putting the sign of currency in your work if you so desire, and also changing some name to suit what you intend to have. Like in this work, we can do formatting. How do you format? You can come here on this cross, say chart element. You can add, remove, or change chart elements such like the title, legend. You can change all this in here. So when you click on it, you see what we have. The ones that are checked are already included in our chart, and the ones that are unchecked are not there. In case you need them, you can only do what? Like trend. Assuming I want trend, I can now check on trend. Trend will appear. And I don't want the trend, I will uncheck it and it will go. It's as simple as that. Now we have total here. And what is the name of the total? We're looking at revenue by country. So we can come here and change the title of this work and call it revenue by country. And look at our spelling. Revenue should have an E. Okay. Can also bolding it, Control B. We can also maybe come to our home page and give it a red color. So we can also look at the formatting inside. We can come and say, okay, we don't want to see this axis. Remove the axis. As this is removed, we also don't want to see grid line, and we'll remove the grid line. Okay, we want to see legend, or we want to change the position where the legend should be on the top, should be by the left, should be on the bottom, it should be more option. Whatever you want, you can put it there and it will remain for you as you wish. So you can leave it here. We can even look at the labeling. You can even put a table. Whatever you wish to do is available for you to do. That's what we are saying. Okay, having done that, we have other option of formatting, and that is on the issue of the particular style you need. You can see that outside of what we have here, we have other styles that you can employ, and if you are still, maybe you say you want this, it will appear for you as you want. So it is within your discretion to choose what you want. So even the color is also which color do you need? Do you like the color already there? Okay, you want green, you want yellow, any color you feel you want, you can also employ it and it will be there for you. So now the next thing you can do is to change the name. This is country and we are saying row label. Row label is not a name for country. So what do? Is either you come here and double click and change, or you come to the top and make your changing under your function space. So when we double click here, see showing row label up. I can just come here and clean it and write country, and that becomes it. So sum of revenue. Sometimes again, okay, so a lot of formatting is open for you as you so desire to do, but the thing is that we have answered the first question, which was the what to call it now, visualization for what? Revenue by country. So we don't need the trend line, so we remove the trend line. It doesn't make any sense. We can look at the data label, axis title if you so wish. We can bring back the axis, maybe to guide our work to see the amount as per country. From here we can see that Central and Southeast have not performed well and Australia has performed marvelous. So having answered this question, and note anytime you click outside of either the pivot table or pivot chart, our interlock, the field here will disappear, but when you click inside, the field will appear for you to do further analysis if you so wish. Okay, so the next question is, go back to our data fluency. Say create a visualization for the proportion of revenue by gender. So we want to see revenue now by gender. So how do we do it? We'll go back again to our this is the table of our work. We'll continue from where we stop. This is where we stop. So for you to bring in a new pivot chart, what you need to do is click anywhere outside of where you are working. Just click anywhere, but make sure, like what I normally do, they are on the same space, the same row line, so that you don't have some mix up. The reason is that sometimes it may require you to do some typing, and if the typing is too plenty, it can begin to give you some undesired formatting and chart nature, which may not be good. So maintain this line. So we want to bring another I want to bring another pivot table to answer the second question. So we'll come again, click anywhere outside, go to insert, click on insert, and go again to pivot table and chart, and click on pivot table and chart. It will present the same option again to you. So what we do here is that you don't enter anything here, because this is not the place of focus. The place of focus is on our data fluency sheet. So we'll go to our data fluency sheet, bring our cursor to the very starting point, customer ID, then do shift control down and right to cover your area of interest. As you're shifting, it is being captured here. So it is working on the existing worksheet, which is the worksheet we just finished our work now, and you can say okay. So say, after saying okay, discover that we have gotten a new pivot table and sheet. So we can arrange it to do yet another assignment. Okay. So this table now, the question again is, we are looking at revenue by gender. If I'm not mistaken, we are looking at what? Revenue by gender. Let's be sure of the question. Always be sure of any question that you are being asked. That is the first step. So okay, create visual for proportion of revenue by gender. It's alright. So we'll go back again. Now we go and look at our what we have here. We have revenue and also have gender. So you click on revenue and also click on the look for gender. Gender should be up by gender. See, revenue and gender has come up. So that's the first thing. We'll make it, maybe arrange it very well. You can see that the male is much more than the female. So outside of revenue by gender, we can also maybe incorporate country if you wish. So how do you incorporate country? You look for the region and you click on the region too. You see that the revenue by gender has been disaggregated into female and male, depending on how you want it to appear. So that appearing now is what we do here. What we do here to arrange it. We can do many things. For instance, we see that we have gender here. We can decide to remove this gender, remove this field here. We'll come and bring the gender here. Just tap it, drag it, and bring it to filter. Let's see how it will look like. We brought it to filter, and we are seeing just the revenue. The gender is not addressed. That is not what we want. So we can also remove the field. It's part of what we do to see how our work will look like. Go again and remove the. You can also maybe remove everything and start afresh. Let's start with revenue first. Then let's now bring in gender. Now bringing revenue first before gender, you can see that let's bring our map up a bit. You can see that you are seeing country disaggregated by male, female, male, female, male, female, because we brought in revenue first before gender. Now let's go back again and remove it. Remove the revenue and remove the gender. Okay, observe again. Let's start with revenue. When we start with revenue, then let's go and put up our gender. You see, it is country separately. Now, if you want to see it in this way, fine. You may also wish to see it differently. This you can draw it to have a closer view of what you want to see. So in this particular arrangement, you are seeing, bring it down a bit and expand this. So in this particular arrangement, you can expand it a bit to have a broader view. We are seeing revenue and gender disaggregated by country closely knitted. You can see for Australia that the male customers we are much more than the female customer. You can see that for Canada, the same thing. For Central, you cannot really determine it because the number is small and we are working in bigger values. You want to see this one, you can isolate it separately and you can see much of it. You can see, but for France, the female customers are more, and for Germany, the male. Northeast, the same challenge as Central. Northwest, more male. Southeast, the same challenge as the last two we have just discussed about. Northeast, West, and Central. Then Southwest. So it's only in France that we have more female, the rest is more male. So this has a way of giving us a view, a better insight. So you can also play around with, maybe you want to see the gender. You can bring gender to legend. Let's see what it will give us. You see, when you bring it to legend, it has a kind of giving us different coloration for male and for female. You see where gender, where the legend becomes very handy. So we have already answered the question. We are only trying to make more insight, to have more visuals, to have more understanding about where we are headed to. So you can also format your work. When you click on the work, you can shift a bit so you can be able to make formatting work. Maybe remove grid line or improve the grid line by adding maybe other needed one, for instance, and make it look somehow different. You can do this. You can also, we'll leave it at that. We have answered the second question, which is, now look at the title. Title is always very important. So let's go and look at our, let's put up short title. We say this one is revenue by gender considering country, disaggregated by country. So for you to get revenue by gender properly, just remove the country. You only see revenue by gender. You just see the proportion. It was not looking too nice. That is why I started to just improve it by putting this. But normally, you should just look for it the way it is asked, and you are good to go. So the next question is, create a visualization of revenue by country and gender. So I've just answered that question. So let me just give us just revenue by gender and we'll leave it the way it is. We have usually answered the third question because of the beauty of it, but there's no challenge. So let's go again. and I can come here, can move this out a bit. So this was addressing the revenue by gender, by country. Okay, it's all right. So you want to insert more space so that you can answer the second question. You can do that by just going to insert and insert more space. It will help you to do more work. Okay, so let's come here and just click on this place, go to insert and pick our pivot chart by chart and table, and we'll go to data fluency, and we start again the way we did the last one. You go to the topmost, click on it, do either shift control down or shift control right. It is the same thing, then down if you are using right. So it has populated the range where we want to work. It's going to work on existing worksheet where we're working already, and we'll now say okay. So you see it has come up. So we can maybe shift now to accommodate this. We can still insert, click on insert, and shift this one so it doesn't interfere in what we are doing. Okay, insert, insert. Okay, so we can bring our table here to occupy. We can also reduce it so that it can enter where we want it to fit in. Everything is flexible in this. So we'll come again. Remember, we are looking at revenue by gender. So quickly go to revenue and we'll go to gender. And that is it. So that is what we are asked to do, the total revenue and gender. So we can now format it. Write revenue by gender, and then we can make it to be bolder. We can go to home, pick up a color, and then we can also, if we so wish, close this. We can also pick our gender and take it to legend to give us different color per segment. We can see that the male is much than the female. We can do other things as you wish, but this is the basic idea of what you are required to do. So when you have done this, it means that you have comfortably, can reduce this a bit, you have comfortably answered the question. So go to the fourth question, and the fourth question is let's go up again to see our question. Okay, So the first question we are asked to do what? To create a visualization of proportion of revenue by age brand. So we are going to check proportion of revenue by the age band. Want to see how the income came to us from the different age categories. So remember, it's the same idea. So you come to where you want to answer the question, and then make sure you are outside of the required space. Then you can click on it. You can click on here, or maybe give a space. Then go to insert. Go to pivot chart, click on it and go to pivot chart and table, pivot table. Then you now move over to your data fluency and go to a starting point. Click on the customer ID, shift control down and control right. You have populated the range, then you click OK. So having done that, you see that we have another pivot table for us to continue our work. Then you arrange it appropriately and begin to work. So what we are asked to do here is what? We are looking at revenue by the age band. So we'll go to revenue. We're just picking one. You can always take your time to do a lot of analysis and you get your answer. You see what comes up. That is a guiding principle for you. So you go to age band and click on age band. So by me looking at it, you see that the income came from the adult age band and the seniors. So the elderly and the young adults have less, especially the young adults that are still coming up. Most of them are in school, they don't have much capital to spend. And most of the adults and seniors are already involved, they are working or they are company owners, so they can spend better. So that is what we are seeing here. So we can also, if you feel to make it look nice, you can take the age band to legend. It give you a fine pictorial presentation with this. You can also format, you put up your title chart. We say revenue by age band. Say revenue by age band. So you can also do other formatting. You can also do whatever you want. This one you don't want it, you can just remove it. Depends on you. You can also remove the grid line. You can also even change the background. Everything. You can even change the type of chart you are seeing. You can change the type of chart you are seeing. You can see here, you can also do what we call filtering. You can say you don't want to see the young adult and the elderly, for instance, and you say okay. You see, it's just showing you two. And you don't want it, you can come here again and bring back that step. So it's part of what you can do. You can change, you can format this, make it bolder, you can even change the position. So we want to just make it to be bold, maybe put up a red color or any color that is associated with the work here. You can even increase this size or reduce. You can bring this down. You can drag this down. You can expand it. You can do a lot of things. This one too, you can expand it if you so wish. So that is part of the formatting we are talking about. You know how to do it and you're good to go. So with that, we have been able to conveniently answer the question on our data fluency. Let's go again and look at it again. We've been able to answer the question on our data fluency. We have been able to demystify some notions. So what is left for us is to look at, as we continue in our work, we are going to show you again what a line chart is for memory recollection, area chart. We have been using bar chart and the rest. We're going to also teach you water chart and funnel chart, even though you have done it. They are all simple, they are all there in your under insert. Some of them are there under insert, which you can be able to pick out. What we have not done much is the map. Map does not function well in Excel, but it can function well in Table and in Power BI. So have that in your mind. So we are going to progress in our work. So in addition to what we have learned today, we want to look at how to generate simple regression and also multiple regression. So when you want to generate a simple regression, it is very simple. Now when you have a hypothetical data like the one I have here, temperature and rating, they are hypothetical, they are just picked by fiction of our imagination, just for the sake of illustrating how it works. So when you have something like this, and we have about 15, because we have from 2 to 16, about 15 of these charts. Now we want to put them into view. All you need to do is simple. When you come to your data, when you go to data, look at the extreme, you see data analyze or data analysis. Now this data analysis is not a default function in your Excel sheet. It is not default. You bring in it. Remember when we are looking at the back end of our data analysis at your file, when you go to your file again, you go to more, click on more, you see option, go to option, you go to your add-ins. When you go to your add-ins, under Excel add-ins, open it, click on go. Under Excel add-ins, you see analysis tool. So you just, if your own is not checked, just check it just the way it is. Check everything here and click OK. So once you do that, your analysis, data analysis will come up. So when it comes up, now you can now be able to use it to do some functions. So how do we do that? You come to this our hypothetical data framework, click on it from the top, control down and right. Then you go to data analysis, click on it. Once you have clicked, you see this interlog will come up. You see it has covariant, descriptive statistics, exponential smoothing, F test to sample for variance amongst many. You see regression, up sampling text. So it is what we can use for analysis, just like what they use for eView. You can do it also in Excel. So we want to work with regression. You click on the regression analysis and you click OK. So once you have done that, it want to do what? Undertake regression analysis. This time is a simple regression because we just have one dependent and one independent, or one y and one x. You know, under regression we are looking at causality, what is causing what to happen. So what is depending on the other is what we are going to see when we are doing regression. So we have temperature and rating, and we are looking at it as one is making the other to give us an output, where one is actually the input. So now for you to work, it has a range, but you have to claim to be sure of the range you are using. So this our temperature and ratings. It is our work now to impute our y range, and you can pick anyone to be your x or anyone to be your y. So if you want this to be your y range, you come here and click on the y range, come over here, pick on the report. Okay. So now if you look at here, you see label. If you want to include label, then you have to start from the beginning. So to capture both temperature, switch shift control down. The temperature is captured in your range here for your y range. Then for your s range again, you come and capture rating and shift down. You have captured this. So if you have done this, you come here and indicate that you have a label, so that it will not read this in the analysis. So that is what you should do. Now secondly, do you want to see the confidence interval or the level of error? Want to see it, so we click on it. It will be able to show us the confidence level. You can work with 95% for social science, and for pure science is 1%. That means the degree of error you are permitting your work to take even as you undertake analysis. So after you have done that, it talks about the new worksheet. Yes, you want it to be a new worksheet or not, or new workbook. Now, these are the residue. Remember, when we do regression, we have to see a lot of residues. Which one do you want to see? You want to see everything. You want to see, for the sake of our work, we want to see everything. Let's see how it will look like. So we click on the residue. Now also probability. Normal probability plot, do you want to see it? You also want to see it. So if you have done all this and you have ticked them well, you can now come and click your OK. So after clicking OK, we see that our analysis has been performed for us. And now it is left for us to do what? To interpret, or at least understand first what has been done before we begin to interpret. Now, if you're a student of research, by the time you have gotten this answer, you can now begin to write up your research based on your stated expectation, or what we call a priori expectation. So you can see that we have a lot of them here. So looking at the work again, you see that we have the summary of the output, multiple R or multiple regression if it happens to be 0.29 or 0.2984. R square is 0.08. Adjusted R square is 0.189. Our standard error and the number of observations is given. Apart from that, we also have some ANOVA report. ANOVA is talking about both the regression, the residue, and the total degree of freedom. Because we are looking at two items, it will be 2 minus 1, leaving us with 1. For the residue, we have 15 observation minus 2, which is number of regression, to leave us with 13. So we'll add 13 and 4 plus 1 to give us 14 in total. So this SS is the sum of square, and is given as a value for the regression. For the residual, it is also provided. You add it up to give us this. So for the mean square of our work, you see that it is the same with this, and we're dividing it by a particular value, and we'll come up with this. Dividing it by this, dividing by this, we'll come up with this. Then we divide this by this to give us our F computed, which is our value that we got from this calculation or from this estimation. Then we'll go to the table and we check our significance at the same point, which is a computed value, and we now make comparison between the two to know if our work is statistically relevant or not. Now we also look at the intercept, we look at the ratings, look at the residual output, we look at the probability. Now for your work as a research student, it is not everything you need, but the one that is relevant to you, and you pick it up. Then apart from that, we also have some um, charts that came up. The residual plot was seen, and line of fit was also seen, along as normal probability. So we are able to see that we can be able to get this important report from our regression just by engaging this hypothetical work, which didn't have any base, just for the sake of academics and understanding. So when you begin to get your pure result, you can also work in the same line of thought and you get your answer. Now for the multiple regression, remember in our the tree, we are looking at quick analysis. That's hypothetical work. We're also going to use it to illustrate how you can be able to do multiple regression using the same data analysis. So how do you do your multiple regression? First of all, you pick everything and you go to data analysis and you pick regression. So you pick regression and you say, okay, see, it didn't give us room whether it's multiple regression or simple regression. So it is our working that determines whether our work is multiple regression and simple regression. Second thing you should know is that once you have used it to work, the last report or the last result will always be reflective. So let's say you want to change some things, you can now be able to change it. So for us to now perform multiple regression, all you need to do is to look at our work. You see, this place does not have any value for what we are doing. For you can work against table with respect to the rest, or you can work against Power BI with respect to the rest as you wish, or machine learning to respect to the rest. So if we want to pick maybe for instance table, so when we come for this input range, we come here and we just pick our table only. It will only pick the table range. And when we want to look at the X input for instance, we can now start with Power BI and cover it up to machine learning, and you have covered that, then you know your work has label, so it will ignore the write up on the top, and you're still working with 95% uh, uh, confident level, and anything remains the way it was in the last work. So you click OK. So when you click OK, now it has given you a result for multiple regression. Remember, in multiple regression, we are looking at an independent variable that the explainable or the explanatory terms are more than one, in spite of the parameters that are provided and the stochastic term. So you can see that if we have looked at our work, we can now be able to see that coming into play. Okay. So we're seeing something here. Number. Maybe we'll have to repeat this. Okay. Let's repeat this and maybe change one or two things. Yes, let's repeat and see what happened. Okay. Let's go again and pick on our analysis and regression. Say okay. And we're working with let's look at, I'll just pick the numbers and see what it will give us. I will remove the label and see if it will be different from what we just saw. Okay, we're still seeing this. Remember, these works are mostly hypothetical in nature, so it is not a tested work. It's just for illustration's sake. So because of it, we can see that there's an issue with the p-value. There's an issue with our computed work and level of significance. So we are going to leave it like this for now. In our next class, we'll bring a purely tested work. We'll go to an analytical textbook and bring out a challenge, and we can look at it. So we can look at it in line with expectation, so that we know that we are in line with what is required, and that will be it. So, but looking at the work, it had the semblance of what we should expect when you are working under maybe multiple regression. You will see that we have multiple R square, adjusted R, standard error, observation, and then we have a degree of freedom, the sum of square, the mean square, amongst many. So these ones are there. All were not, that is not there. Maybe is the imputation of value for p-value we should be addressing. But the idea is that you can be able to use this idea to get and analyze a given table, and your answer will be in place. So having done that, I think we'll be ending our class today and ending our classes today. I will just take maybe 2 or 3 minutes in my next class to address this little issue. Then we'll continue with other class. So I always encourage you to continue to study, explore beyond what you see here, and become the master of your future. Remember that you have any issue or challenge, always call on us, crystal.dataconcept@gmail.com, crystal.dataconcept@gmail.com, or with our phone numbers. You can chat us on WhatsApp, and we'll always attend to you. Don't fail to indicate your code number so that we can be able to attend to you faster. See you next time. May knowledge be with you. Bye bye.
In today's world, data is the new gold. Data scientists unlock insights from raw information. They use statistical methods to analyze trends. Data analysts convert data into visual stories. By creating dashboards, they help organizations make informed decisions. Machine learning models can predict future outcomes. They identify patterns that aren't visible to the naked eye. Data cleaning ensures accuracy in analysis. Collaboration across departments enhances data insights. They utilize programming languages like Python and R for analysis. Cloud computing resources expand their capabilities. With big data, they tackle complex challenges across industries. Ethics in data science ensures responsible use of information. The future of data science looks bright with endless possibilities.